For our first speaker, Mrs. Feige Seltzer. Feige, right? Feige. Mrs. Feige Seltzer is the founder and director of PNIMI, an organization that provides educational materials and in-depth training to principals, teachers, and mothers to address contemporary challenges. PNIMI's SNEES and digital technology curriculum provide an inward-based, sophisticated, and growth-oriented approach to difficult topics. They have been met with wide acclaim in schools across the United States, Canada, South America, Eretz Israel, Europe, and South Africa. A division of PNIMI is Link Up, an educational program for women which strengthens and empowers women to find clarity and direction as they educate and have dialogue with their children about upholding Torah values in today's world. PNIMI's newest program is Link Up Nook, which is a curriculum specifically geared towards post-seminary single girls. And now, just in my own words, Feige is a very dear friend of ours, and I heard her speaking at the Aguda. And I was just so blown away. I said, at our next available opportunity, we just have to have her. So I'm so grateful that she was able to come. I'm so grateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he allows us to have her. And without further ado, you all know her, but Feige. Honor. It's a privilege, it's a pleasure to be here with you over the next 3 days. I want to thank Liba, Sati, Michelle, all three of whom I could call good friends going back a long, long time, for everything we do for Israel, really. I'm looking around the room and I want to do a little bit of an interesting disclaimer, okay? So, I think it must have been about 10 years ago, I was invited to address the Satmar principles. Some rookie title invited me to address all the Satmar principles from her division. And as we were preparing, it wasn't the topic of today's how we wanted to consider how to do it differently. As we were preparing, I said to her, I said, Rabbi Teitelbaum, I have a problem. My problem is that I'm used to presenting in English. I just haven't been able to get words out of my mouth. Like, you want me to do it in Yiddish, it's not gonna flow. So she said to me something very interesting. She's like, listen, it's only for principals, so I'm good with the English, okay? But tell them as follows. And she said to me, she grew up in Chicago. She said, my mother tongue is English. My professional language is Yiddish. She'll tell the women as follows. Like, your mother tongue is Yiddish. It is. I was Mechanic in Yiddish, Mechanic my children in Yiddish, right? Tell them your professional language is English. Now, why am I saying this now? Not because of the English, but because they're going to hear me use what we call Litvish Avara. That's also my professional language. I'm looking around the room like, this is like 90% Hasidic here, right? And I'm like, and so am I, but it's going to feel a little weird. So we're good with that. That's my disclaimer. Okay. So I want to call today's gathering, tomorrow, what I would call the Bayis Bad Lachachamim, a space, a makom, a summit that will remind us of our chachma. Now, what do I mean by that? Typically, the way Machshav's firm describes it, there are 3 steps to any happening. Right? There's chachma, bina, das. Right? Chachma typically is the first idea. It's also expressed as ratzon, right? It's the first insight, the sparking of an idea. Bina is the particulars. How am I going to actualize it? How am I going to take the idea and actualize it? And then das is the integration of that idea, right? So take a super simple example. One day you're walking, you're thinking about a theme for next school year or a theme for the play. There's the Reish Machshava, there's like just something comes up for you, right? Then you have your team meeting, you figure out all the particulars, and finally you integrate it. There's the das, you carry it out, right? So we all know that the Reishis HaMachshava, we all know the inspiration that got us into the work that we're doing. For every single one of us is different. But if you go back to your Reishis HaMachshava, right? If you go back to the seed that inspired you, that motivated you, that got you to be in the exceptionally privileged, special space that you are in, you know what that is. all year, every day, you are busy with the bina, particulars. You're busy with the das. You're busy figuring out schedules and teachers and parents and students. That's what you're doing, the bina, the das, and the bina, and the das, right? What we're going to do together now is come back to the Reishis HaMachshava. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I busy checking out the school and checking out the substitutes and making sure that everybody's going back from adventure, back from it, all those details? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What fueled me? What motivated me? So what we're going to be doing together, what I am doing now, is setting my intention for the next 2 days. Bring us back to our chachma. Yes, ladies, we're going to get to the bina. We're going to talk about particulars. Honey, we're going to get to the das. We're going to talk about how to integrate a lot of things that we're going to be learning about. But first, let's just figure out what we're doing. And you know what that also does, ladies? It brings us back to the Reishis HaMachshava HaKadosh Baruch Hu. His Reishis HaMachshava was us. His Reishis HaMachshava was Klal Yisrael. His Reishis HaMachshava is the Bnei Yisrael that we have the privilege to be mechanech every single day. And when we connect our chachma, my inspiration, my fuel, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's chachma, which is Klal Yisrael, right? It brings us to a place of openness, a place where we're ready to learn, to explore, to think differently, right? It brings us to a place of, I like to say, of humility, of what don't I know? And it allows me to open myself up to be a conduit for His chachma, to be a cleave for all the chachma that I need, that I could then go back and will fuel me with the bina and the das. You know, typically, when people go on vacation, certainly when we're talking mishvat and people go to a warmer climate, right? There's the expression of, I'm going to catch my breath. I'm going to catch my breath. And I just want to call this out. How do principals catch their breath? They're coming here, fine, nice weather, thank you, right? Fabulous company, but they're coming to network, they're coming to collaborate, they're coming to think, they're coming to learn. The Sfarim talk about the fact, we talk about catching your breath. What's a breath? When we catch our breath, there's a pause between the inhale and the exhale. This is Sfarim talk about. I exhale, I let it go. I let go all my stuck points. I let go, sometimes it's like shitas or beliefs that I've had and carried for a long time. I'm here to catch my breath. I'm exhaling all of that, letting go, and inhaling, inviting HaKadosh Baruch Hu in. So ladies, we're here to catch our breath. In short, invite HaKadosh Baruch Hu in. And I just want to say, who am I to say this? But I'll quote Rav Bernie, who once said it. Said, look at what principals are doing on a free Sunday afternoon. And he said the words, Hashem is rejoicing. Look at my dear daughters. Look at what they're doing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in this room, and the Siyata Kishmaya is all over us. So I set my intention. My intention is going back to Reishis HaMachshava. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And my intention is to breathe, to let it out, and to let Him in. And I want to invite you to take 1 minute, and if you could just write down for yourself, don't interact with each other, what is your intention? And you can write down an intention. You can put an entire conference, you can write an intention for the next hour, you can write down an intention for today, but write down what you hope. Your intention after, as I said, this conference, or today, or this hour that we have together. I'm going to try to get 2 shares. Okay? If you wrote something personal, then I didn't share, but I would like to try to get 2 shares if you connect with it later.
I want to connect the Nadal Answer to myself. I want to connect the Nadal Chavera to everybody, all the counties, and I want to connect the Nadal Welcome to the Baruch Shalom.
Sounds like you came to the right place, Mrs. Mayor. I'm just here for 2 hours, and I keep saying I'm walking around and listening. This place is magical. Okay, will we get one more? One more intention. Ladies, you could break your shyness right now because I'm going to do a lot of this.
No problem. Great.
Go ahead.
Nothing minded to be further inspired and give new insights and raising today's world.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful, thank you. Okay, ladies, I want to share one more memory with you that I actually was not planning on sharing. But I'm looking around the room, and this is what's coming up, and it certainly connects with what we're going to be talking about today, but it's just something that is coming up for me as I'm looking at all of you. So, a lot of years ago, I had the privilege to meet with and talk to Mrs. Carol Bench, author of The Man the Dragon and Carry Me Your Heart. And it was a very special opportunity, obviously, as she spoke about teacher, she spoke about Sarah Schneer, and a lot of beautiful memories. It was probably two years before she moved to Paris, and a lot was coming back to her. Then she shared with me as follows. She said when she just arrived to America right after the Holocaust, it was a couple of days later, and she ventured to Williamsburg, having heard a lot about it and having known that the Yaakov Repton Kaplan is in Williamsburg. Now she's walking on Bedford Avenue, just looking around. First she was overwhelmed by the sight. She saw children, like just children, Yiddish children. And she was overwhelmed by the memory of running around Auschwitz, right, after liberation and searching for a child. And there were none. And here she's walking Bedford Avenue and she's seeing Yiddish children. And just then she bumped into no one other than Rebbetzin Kaplan. Of course, Rebbetzin Kaplan was so excited to see her, and they caught up on friends. It was a hard reunion, a lot of beautiful moments about people who survived, but a lot of hard moments. And the Rebbetzin Kaplan said, "Come with me. Come with me now. I want you to come to the seminary. I want you to talk to my students. I want you to tell them that who you are, about our teacher, and where you're coming from." She happened to have said that she was very uncomfortable. She was still wearing her refugee dress, and it was not covering her properly. And Rebbetzin Kaplan said, "I'll cover the podium with the tablecloth." And anyways, so she walked onto the stage, and she didn't know her plan was to share about Sarah Schneer and to share about her students. Then she just got into the stage and she looked around, and she saw students. She saw Beis Yaakov girls. And she was so overwhelmed that all of a sudden she heard like a guttural screech. And in a voice that she didn't recognize as her own, she screamed, "Baruch Shehiyanu v'kimanu v'hiyanu lazman hazeh." To be here, just over the ocean from where she's coming from, seeing live students sitting in their uniforms, learning the same Chumash and the same Navi, the same Halacha, was such an overwhelming experience for her. Fine. Then she continued. 50 years later, there was an event, there was an askara held for the arts of Sarah Schneer. This time, it was 50 years later, it was held in the Brooklyn Armory in Williamsburg. Buses and buses and buses and buses. There were buses pulled in with thousands of Beis Yaakov girls coming out. And Rav Pam spoke at the time, and Shmuel Dishon spoke. And as a Talmida of Sarah Schneer, she was asked to speak as well. She had about 5 minutes. And she had prepared remarks, 5 minutes of Sarah Schneer. And then she walked onto the stage, and she saw thousands of girls sitting in their uniforms. And these uniforms were not just Beis Yaakov uniforms. They were sitting in uniforms representing the Bnei Yisrael, representing the continuation of our Messiah, representing the fact that there was a time that not only she, but our ancestors, our parents and grandparents didn't know if there was going to be continuity, right? And here she saw it. And once again she said, her paper and her prepared remarks disappeared as she just screamed, "Baruch Shehiyanu v'kimanu v'hiyanu lazman hazeh." Now, I'll tell you why I thought about this today. We're going to be talking about Sarah Schneer today. That's what we're going to be doing. You'll see soon. But when I looked around, and I was just listening to Leva speak, and looked at, first of all, just looked at the transformation of a bunch of women from Techofen, and they're all still like, I don't know, they're sitting here taking notes. Okay, and like, a lot has changed. We've come a long way from the days that Sarah Schneer founded this incredibly, what word to use, like brilliant movement known as the Beis Yaakov system, known as the fact that the Bnei Yisrael are educated in formal schools. A lot has changed from the time when it was in the 90s when there was that askara. And yet, so much hasn't changed. So many of the questions that Sarah Schneer and her Talmidas grappled with, so many of the questions of how do we aspire, how do we ignite, How do we bring Talmidus to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to love the Torah, to love Yiddishkeit? How do we create a real connection? How do we do that? These are the same questions that we're going to be asking ourselves here today, tomorrow, and every day. The same questions that Sarah Schneer and Hil Talmidus and all of these that built the, let's call it the framework upon which we stand. And I like to say we, the Menadas of today, we're privileged. A structure has been set for us. A curriculum, quote unquote, give or take, has been set for us. What Girls Chinuch looks like has been set for us. And now it's for us to fill what I like to call the panim, to fill the inside. The foundations were built, the framework was built, the structure was built. But the panim, the inside, what excites and motivates our Talmidas, that's the question that we need to keep asking ourselves again and again. And so I want to start with the following question. And I'm actually going to ask you to journal for 2 minutes quietly, okay? Because I'm going to give you very specific instructions, okay? Sometimes we're going to do it quietly, sometimes we're going to do it interactively, but it really does make a difference, okay? So for 2 minutes, quiet journaling. Here's my question. If you would think about your Talmidas, how would you describe the ideal Bas Yisrael? Now, I want to explain. I'm not asking you what she looks like. I'm asking you what is the ideal Bas Yisrael made up of? What are her core characteristics? What are her beliefs? What are her thoughts? What drives her? Journal for yourself, okay? Just the ideal. If you think about your Talmidas, if you think about what you want her to be like as a 25-year-old, as a 35-year-old, as she's living life, what is she made up of? Ladies, here's what we're going to do now, okay? We're going to go in the order of tables. Okay, we're going to do a boggle share, okay? Meaning that anything that was said already, cross off your list. By the time we get to this table, we're going to have a good, nice list of our ideal Bas Yisrael. I need help from someone. I need somebody to take notes of the full length of it. Do we have a volunteer? Thank you. That's so sweet. Okay, thank you. Okay, can we start with you, Mr. Nakal? Ladies, this is just yours, no right or wrong. Your perception of an ideal Bas Yisrael. Go ahead. Say that again. Simcha. Simcha to be a Yiddish woman, okay? Go ahead.
I guess similar, satisfied, content, and no position of Bas Yisrael.
Satisfied, content in her position as Bas Yisrael.
I wasn't a little long-winded, maybe?
No, I expected that. Go ahead.
Not just on the students today, but like long-term, I guess, so the clarity of who she is and what her role in this world is. A pure and genuine, loving relationship with Coach Baruch, with joy for you, right? You better say something.
It's okay. Speak a little louder. It's okay. Many will have that. Let me rephrase it.
Speak up.
Okay, so you have to speak a little louder.
I want to have clarity of who she is and what her role in this world is.
Clarity from she and what her role. I don't want to repeat because I don't want to take time. So just
Okay, a clear and genuine, loving relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu with joy for Yiddishkeit. with the clarity and ideas that not only helps her navigate life's challenges, but it can also inspire others.
So thank you.
She used up a lot of things.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
So, you might want to try the mic. Pass around the mic.
Hey,
So, a woman with expanded heart that's able to give and feel others.
Okay, expanded heart, able to give and feel others. Okay.
Someone with strong priorities and backbone.
Strong priorities, backbone. Coper. Okay. Strong, solid backbone, has the strength to hold her own even when the world has a different view. Does it snuff there with some kind, knows what's important, don't want to miss the right finger. Beautiful. Okay, we heard, right? We heard? Okay, ladies, but do your bob, okay? Go ahead.
Strength, resilience, courage,
Okay, go ahead.
goodness, joy, light, love.
So I think that true Basisral, because we women are giving birth to the next generation, so I think that true Basisral should have like a purpose in life as a mother and as a mahalachas. That how do I inspire my children or my Talmudos to inspire them enough to love the Masorah and keep the Masorah and love it enough and make it exciting enough for our children and for our Talmudos that they will be so excited and they will want to make it for their children, and that's how Am Yisrael will continue to always be inspired.
I think if I, just like in one sense, we just talk about like a passionate, committed woman who cares about giving over the Messiah to her children, passionately, excitedly, love. Okay.
Can I just tell you how it started?
What do you mean?
I just want to tell you where it came from. I remember when I was very little hearing the story that a child, after the concentration camp, after the war, did not know that he was Jewish, and the only way he knew he was Jewish is when somebody saw him saying Shema, and he said, oh, and when I heard that, I said, oh my gosh, what am I doing for my children? Who knows what's going to happen? So I started little things. When I lit Shabbos candles, every time after lighting candles, we have to dance. I love Shabbos with my kids. I bought them special Shabbos toys, and I focused on making religion, and so it's so exciting. And now that as a principal, I do it in my school, and I feel that that's the hemshah of how it's to make it exciting. Thank you for our next generation.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
For school, so in school,
Go ahead.
can I just say she asked for an example of how I do it in school?
A sense of the student knowing who she is as a person, a sense of knowing where we come from, as Israel, and where we're heading
I
to.
think we're saying a lot of this. Very well said.
And we have an alignment of the two that are coming together on purpose.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I think Sneers and Shrek's speech and thoughts of just being a Sneers person, kind and that cares for others, but also takes care of herself. A lot of times that gets lost in translation. And also what you said, like to be mechanic with Minar al Kibar, like standing up for what's right, but not being like a sheep and just following whatever else.
Thank you.
Everything is crossed off my list. Thanks for what it takes. Just to teach
It's an election. It's not a question.
Down to the Torah got lost a lot. Like everything just has to work their way. But I feel like just remembering down to the Torah, Hashem is the one.
Beautiful. Ladies, can I ask you to look at your list and tell me what wasn't said? Right? You have, okay. Good. So anything, we're starting skipping over some people. We're just going to talk about the things that weren't said.
Every student should have a pride, confidence, and certainty, 100% knowing that Hashem loves her for who she is.
Exactly what I said.
A neshama made from the town of Lakim, Siri Level neshama, Leshem Shaloi Bachlama, she's a diamond, Evas Melech, loved by Hashem, the most love possible, more than anything in the world. She's a type to be able to bring the Shekhinah to this world.
Anything else?
I'm a lay person here, but I feel that girls today, I just feel like girls today don't have enough confidence to have the dharma. When they're 25 years old, that they should know that no matter what, I'm never going to cross that boundary. I don't think the Yer Shemaya is strong enough to say, I created dharma.
If they're proud.
If they have real pride of where they're born and where they learn and what they learn, and they will give it over to their kids, that's going to stay with them forever.
If the girls have understanding and the comfort, the comfortability of knowing
about all different types of needs, and then being able to be confident, to be able to be working right from wrong from wherever they belong, wherever they are.
Thank you. We have anything that looks like what someone said here?
An open heart to accept any challenges or anything that comes their way. And that's really something that they
That it's all the time that her lesson should align with the lesson Hashem, and she should be able to follow it. She should be emazing, wanting to do the right thing for the right reasons, not because she was told, but because she truly believes it, and be clear with why she wants to do the right thing, the pneumius and the shaksainius.
to be Tadavin of Tzadikim, to believe in our Chachamim and what they say and accept Bizach Mahmiyah to them.
To be able to juggle their professional and personal life and not force the Torah lifestyle.
I don't think anybody said this, but my first thing was that our girls should be healthy emotionally and spiritually. I think that's very, very important. I think that's the first thing. That they're emotionally healthy and spiritually healthy, and I did. Along with what she said, self-control is a very important thing. Flexibility, I don't know if anybody said it, but that's an important thing. And but I'm not sure. And 1 minute, and really from 2025, I'm saying it, that should be productive. They should be productive. They should get up on time. They should have a goal every day. It shouldn't be like a chill day. You do nothing today, nothing all week. You have no job, and you're not in camp, and you're not in school, and you're not in the school is day after day, and they don't feel good about themselves. So not covered everything, but communication is also very
Communication. Okay.
Communication, I think, is a key for important for us. To not even communicate with her. That was like one thing.
No, very true. If there's anything, I'll say something. I think we started this with the idea of community, and I think it's very important that women realize that they're part of the community and seek out what they're able to do to give and to help in the community. Whatever their skills or their talents are, they should be able to do that.
So I'm glad the girls are not here because we want so much of them. But it's really a constant awareness that the neshama is in the driver's seat.
I think someone mentioned, doing Ratzon Hashem. And I think it's important that they feel comfortable and confident enough to pause in every situation and to not only think, what does Hashem want from me now, but what am I learning in this situation and how can I grow from it? They should be tenacious and learn to be flexible and strong.
I think that she should learn to be connected to her ani, her core, her sense of self, which is her connection to the Baruch Shalom. And what does it mean, and how to make distinctions with Shalom.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I have one that nobody said. That it's not the summit at the top that counts. It's really by Hashem. It's the struggle to get there that matters most.
Okay. Beautiful.
I also feel like girls need a lead today. Find that girls don't have enough to pay themselves for parents. I had an opportunity now in winter to my niece invited herself with 6 friends from Lakewood. I took them out for a day. I marched them from remnants to different things, and all they wanted to do was go out and eat. Like that was like where the spirit, the fun was going to be in the eating. And it was Yom Kippur Kutner. And I was going to floods in the shul to see Yom Kippur Kutner. I said, girls, I want to come. This is like an opportunity. And you go out to eat all the time. Anyway, I didn't win. So they went to eat, it was fine. And then they went to visit another school. But what I found very hard was they came there and it was playtime, they had a good time. But once the principal said something to them, they didn't know how to react. And they just went into a mode of being defensive. They didn't know that they didn't have the tools to stand up and just be quiet. Adults and a principal from that school talking to you.
Okay, ladies, let's see what we're going to do with all of this, okay? Because I think we want to look at what we are hoping to build our Talmudis into, okay? We're looking at what we're hoping to build our Talmudis into. We're not going to look at what they're not yet, okay? For the purpose of today, tomorrow, in this section, we want to look at what we can do to help cultivate that in them, okay? That's what we're going to be looking at together today. So I really wanted to condense this to a couple of what I would call like salient points, or maybe you could help me with that because you furiously took notes, but I think that if you collect, okay, what was said, we're looking at Talmudis that we hope to build and develop a strong core in them. Many of you expressed it differently. Children who, in simple words, are just biker type. Yeah, there's going to be right and there's going to be wrong, whether it's maybe Strala Amen, whatever it is, about all different type of yidden, whatever different expressions there were, a strong enough core. So no matter where they're at, what they're doing, what they're exposed to, they're biker type. And I think, and then at another level, many express it differently. Connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, connected to Yiddishkeit, connected to their role as women, connected to themselves. And very well, I like Mrs. Swirl, the way you expressed it. When we say connected to the Ani, that means they are connected to the Chalak Eloka Mimah, which is a direct, not connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but we're like in the Metzias of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay. So let me ask you another question, and now I'm going to ask you to write it down for yourselves and not do it amongst yourselves just because we have to move. And that is, we look at our Talmudis of today, the children of today. What are some of the things they are turning towards, okay, that are keeping them from developing all of this? What are some of the things that is available today? What are some things, and I think some of you even already said it briefly, like Mrs. Frankel mentioned, what are some of the, we'd call it some of the challenges, okay, available to our students today that they are turning towards that's keeping them away from this? Okay? Ladies, we're just going to take a minute and if you could just journal it for yourselves. What are they turning towards that's keeping them away from developing all this? Yes. Okay, ladies, and I'm going to start collecting. Okay, again, we're going to do just, I'm not going to go through everybody. Just yell it out loud. Materialism, what else? Technology, quick fixes, things that make them feel comfortable in the moment. Let's call them unhealthy relationships. Okay, ladies, are you following? We're talking about materialism, social, unhealthy relationships, quick fixes, things that make them feel good in the moment.
Social access, also availability of every single, like going out to eat.
Lots of
everything is accessible.
Consumerism, materialism, okay. Distraction, what else? I don't want to talk. I like to talk about what is in our power. You know, when I said with mother, the thing this morning, I said this was the thing about it. Not doing that. What? Right, emotionally unhealthy. What else? What are they turning towards? No, not that. We're asking things they're turning towards. Go ahead. Instant gratification, easy. Anything else? Say that again. Information overload, like connected to everything and not being connected to everyone and no one. Okay, ladies, I think this is the part that we don't have to talk about too much. We all know it, we see it, right? But I think it was very well expressed. Instant gratification, unhealthy relationships, distraction, avoidance, escapism, right? Technology, consumerism, materialism, all of that. So now I want to go back for a moment to how we started. We spoke about Sarah Schneer. Now I want to ask us for a couple of minutes to take on what I call the Sarah lens. Let's go back in history. 1930s Poland. Sarah saw what she saw. At the time, the challenge was not what ours is today. At the time, the challenge was the isms. Intellectualism, socialism, Zionism. That was the challenge. What did she do? Ladies, let's take it apart for a moment. What did she do? She did not. I'll tell you what she didn't do. Like, give me 2 minutes. Tell you what she didn't do. I mean, really, if we had 3 hours, I would not talk. I would just ask questions. But we don't.
You guys are participation.
I'm loving that. No. Just if we had 3 hours, we would just let it go. Okay. I'll tell you what she didn't do. She didn't go from town to town. She did go from town to town. But she didn't go from town to town. Get together the parents and tell them everything they can, like their children do, and how dirty the dirt is, and what's going to come of them. And they run away, and they go to the theaters, and they do Friday night dancing, and they're doing these clubs and storefronts and she didn't do that. There's a place for that. That is the role of Rabbana, to get up and to bring awareness and to shrine about things. That is their role. But Sarah Schneer saw herself as a machanechas. She saw herself as the leader that she turned out to be. And she asked a question. And the question she asked is, what is the void? What is the void? What are these girls lacking? Why are they turning to the isms? Her question was, the first, in order to understand what we're going to do to stop it, or to raise the Bnei Yisrael who are committed, connected, passionate, Yidden, we first need to understand what is the void, what is the lack, what is the drive, what's bringing them to. And at the time, she understood. She understood there was a huge wave of the isms at the time, right? And so she started. In her Polish schools, she started with Poland known to be sharper and, strong in intellect, right? She had highly intellectual schools. And by the way, when she came to the Hungarian schools, for those of you who have studied it, if you did, the schools looked very different. Hungarians were more used to warmth. And so the curriculum of the Polish schools and the Hungarian schools looked very different. The question she asked was not, how are we going to stop them? The girls today are so fill in the blank. That wasn't what she looked at. She said, why? What's the void? What's the lack? What is being filled? What are they lacking that's driving them to what they're being driven to? And so, ladies, an inspiration with a genius wisdom of what I call the Sarashneer lens. Not a lens of how we're going to stop them from materialism, consumerism, unhealthy relationships. I want to have you, okay? Now again, journal for yourself, but really, for now I'm going to ask for 3 minutes of quiet, and you'll see why it's going to be very important, okay? And that's, why are they turning to what they're turning to? What is the void? What is the lack? What don't our students have? What don't our children have? If you want to make it a drop more personal, that's easier, right? That's making them turn to what they are turning to. I'm going to ask you for 2 minutes of quiet and just journal for yourself what you see as the void and the lack. Because ladies, once we're going to have that answer, we're going to be able to figure out how we're going to be able to give our students mega doses of the antidote. Okay? We're going to learn from what Sarashneer did, and then we'll be able to figure out what are the mega doses of that antidote that we need to give to our children, so that we are able to have what we define as the ideal Bas Yisrael. Okay, so just write down, why are students turning to what? What's the draw? Which need is it filling? What is the lack, the void in them that they're turning to it?
This is good.
Ladies, don't share me. You just write that. I'm not sharing. We're talking about something else. Okay, hold on. Okay. For now, just turn. Okay, ladies, here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to stop your shear. Okay, you're going to turn into a group with your table. Okay, and we're going to follow you can look at your handouts, by the way, because the instructions are very clear. This is how we're going to do it, and it's very important that we do it this way. Okay. Okay. Ladies, here's what we're going to do. First, you're going to identify a reporter on your table. Okay, each table needs to have a reporter. Please identify who the reporter is on your table. She's just going to have to report. Okay. Okay, ladies, can I just ask you for 10 seconds of quiet? Okay, ladies. This is something exciting, but can I just ask you for 10 seconds of quiet? Okay, ladies. Okay, I want to give you instructions, and there is real cheshbon to the instructions. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to follow it. Okay, we're going to start. There's going to be a reporter per table. Just identify your table who the reporter is going to be. All she'll have to do is just collect the answers. We're going to start with the first person on the right of each table. She's going to share her thoughts on what is the lack, what is the void, what is being filled with everybody. Quiet. When she finishes, we're going to move to the second. When she finishes, third. When she finishes, fourth. Okay? And when you're all done, then you'll have like 2-3 minutes to just turn this into a conversation, and then we'll see where it goes. Okay? But we really try to follow this. Okay? Okay, ladies, here's what we're going to do now. Okay? I love the conversation that was engendered. I think this is the most important part is the questions we're asking ourselves. We will rest on tomorrow. We're gonna figure out the solution, but not only the solution, but also how to integrate it into our school system. When you say, well, no, only because I respect your time. Otherwise, I wouldn't make you quiet. Only. Right? Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So here's what we're going to do now, ladies. We're only going to hear from the reporter. Okay, we're going to start table by table. Only the reporter will share with us what she came up by her table. I want to hear what you came up with. The summary. Just the summary. Ladies, only the summary. It's not necessary who said what. Okay, go ahead.
So we're discussing the part here.
Okay, ladies, the question is, what is the void? What is the lack? What are they missing? If we find this answer, we're then able to come up, and I'll say it again, mega doses of the antibodies, okay? What are they missing that they are turning to? Everything that was just said that they're turning to. The answer is not because it's available. That's not the answer. Okay? So what are they missing? And then once we'll be able to answer that, we'll figure out how we're going to fill it. Go ahead. Okay? So we're asking only the reporter to speak per table. Okay.
So how our girls, or many today, don't know what good means. They haven't tasted. Have it, Mike? Yeah. Is that clear? So what the lack? The lack is
standing up good, experiencing good. Experiencing good.
Now, what does good mean?
Okay, right? Okay.
Good, what typically we grew up this way, is hard work.
We're on us. Yeah. No, experiencing good. Okay, so what you're saying, one is like they're lacking the experience of real good, real satisfaction, real contentment. Okay. That's the summary. Brilliant. Oh, go ahead.
Therefore, they're lacking real connection, which inhibits motivation.
Okay. Let's let her finish, ladies. Let's let her finish. They're lacking real connection, which inhibits motivation. Go ahead. And passion. Thank you. Very well. Okay, go ahead. How we give them the opportunities to taste real satisfaction, contentment. Okay, good. Okay, who's the reporter here? Okay.
We said the same thing.
It's okay, you'll say it in your own words. Okay.
They're lacking a sense of self. היא עושה מצווה שנה שמלומדה.
What's the
They're
lack? What's the
weakness.
void?
They are lacking a sense of who they are.
A sense of who
A
they
sense of
are.
connection to their essence.
Right? Right?
The Tahara doesn't let them think. They go from one high to another.
Okay. A sense of really who they are. Okay. Their essence. Their essence. Okay. Are you done? Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. Is that recording here?
I didn't say anything.
This is why you're here, you know? Go ahead.
Nurture, sipa, manuchas hanefesh, working hard. Instead of a pleasure, it's a pressure.
Hold on, I just want to put it into the right words. They're lacking nurture, they're lacking working hard, they're lacking...
How are you happy and how are you satisfied if you put in work? But if everything is catered and it's skinless and it's boneless, it becomes lifeless.
Okay. So they don't, so again, ladies, we're hearing a lot of the same themes, which is fantastic. This is, okay. The next, thank you. Okay, who's our recorder here? Go ahead. Okay, let's keep it to the lack, the void, okay?
The void of resilience, confidence, the sipuk, like you said, the lack of real feeling of sipuk, like when we experience, when we can't be, when they can't be, they can only do. Like they just keep on, and when they do that, that's when they feel. But the real feeling of like their being, and then the mindset of herd mentality. It's like everyone's doing that. It's lots of things lying.
Okay, we're mixing up a little something for the lack of the void. So you're saying herd mentality is very similar to what they're lacking that meat, this lack of self.
Really what it is that they can't see, they're just doing, and they're not doing.
So let's again. I just want to put it into the words. So lacking that sense of being. Okay.
In the road.
Ladies, are you listening to each other? Okay. Go ahead.
I think the void is really in the nefesh, and I sort of want to say it was in punked, but so it's from not repeating a lot of what everyone said, not sweating it out, which ends up there's never that feeling of being accomplished, so there's no elitism, which lacks self-confidence, and which ends up lacking self-confidence and non-vicarious, and ends up being no connection to themselves and to the people and to the family, and ultimately to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's that real connection.
There's a lack of real connection, real social connections because of technology.
It's a real connection to who they are.
The word connection definitely came up very frequently with us. The quotes that we started off with, there's no point, we were saying that there are 3 key needs, and our girls are encouraged to avoid each of these. One is self-respect, and like the fake version of that is just wanting attention. They're missing an ability to get real self-respect. The next is more arthritis, and so control is like a counterfeit version of that. And the last is genuine pleasure. They're getting short-term pleasure, but what our table kept on saying is, the ability to try very hard at something and maybe fail multiple times, or find things that are very necessary, that are real things needed, and they're not finding themselves in that goal-directed behavior, and therefore they're not doing it.
Fantastic, thank you. Ladies, my time is up for today, so I want to wrap up with 2 points, okay? One is, I think there's something so incredible that we all expressed it differently, but we sort of said similar things. To condense it, I want to call it 3 main lacks, 3 main voids that our children are missing today, that if we figure out how to cultivate this in our talmidas and our children, That's Ras Hashem, we can get to our original goal, which is the ideal Bas Yisrael. I'm going to name the 3. Tomorrow we're going to take it apart, and then we'll see what we're going to do with it. So the first one is what we call significance. Okay? And many of you talked about like that core, that strength, that I. Let's call it significance. We'll really understand it better tomorrow. The other one is connection/belonging. Many of you use the term connection/belonging. And the third one that this table got is pleasurable engagements. But you know what? This table actually used the term pleasure. Many of you, when you said they're looking for the meaning, they're looking for the real secret, okay? I want you to hold this thought until tomorrow. You could play with it in your brain to try to understand what are we talking about, because it's so incredible once we'll tease it apart and see what they actually mean and what it looks like practically, significance, connection, and pleasurable engagement. B'ezras Hashem, we'll figure out how practically we're going to bring this into our schools, and I think it's going to be transformative. I want to finish off with one last thing, okay? And that is just a thought. When I asked the question about what our students are struggling with, okay? A lot of you, threw out all the typical responses, and they're accurate. There's a reason why they're typical, okay? You said, the technology, materialism, anxiety, all these different things. I often ask women, sometimes it's, principals, teachers, mothers, whatever it is, that give me 10 words that describe you 2025, okay? And typically they describe it the way you just described it, okay? Technology and instant gratification and anxiety and quick and easy fix and not wanting to work hard and left and liberal, that's typically the description. And then I stop and I say, what do you say?
I said wrapped in their self.
Yeah, wrapped in themselves, self, great. Okay, then I said so that what I want to say is I want to validate the sentiment that many of us feel this way. Many of us feel when we look at the world that we're raising these Talmidas in, this is what it is. But I actually want to challenge that thought. I would like to propose that the world we are raising these Talmidas in, the world we're raising our children in, the world we're currently finding ourselves with all of these situations is actually perfect. Now, before you attack me, which I'm going to allow you to do in 90 seconds, okay? I'm just going to remind you of truths that you all know. We all know, very, very, very basic, that we all here for a tikkun and a tapas. Every single one of us came down to this world, between second something, no new chums are brought into the world anymore, right? We're here for a tafiyah and a tapas to fulfill something. We also know that a Baruch Hu designed circumstances perfectly so that we can come to our tikkun and tapas. We also know that Baruch Hu makes no mistakes. So what that basically means is that the fact that your third graders, your kindergarten students, your 12th graders, okay, your 25-year-old Talmidim, right, your non-managing first-year teachers, so everything is too much for them, okay, all of that, all of this reality is perfectly designed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring these girls to their tikkun and tapas. Also perfectly designed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring me. You know something real like, 20 years ago, do you know the binder of Navi, how many prakim I taught? Yeah, 20 years ago you taught that amount of prakim. And now we're not. It is perfectly designed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu so that these Talmidim, with technology, with materialism, with instant gratification, with everything available to them, wanting to go out to eat instead of going to the Rebbeinu Rebbe, right? All of that perfectly designed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu to bring them to their tikkun and tachlis, and to bring us, the privileged ones that are here to guide, to direct, to lead them. Bring them the goals haven't changed, passionate, committed, connected, devoted, B'nai Yisrael, who love HaKadosh Baruch Hu and love Torah, right? That hasn't changed. But these are the circumstances. And let me tell you why this is such an important mindset shift. Because when we think technology, materialism, instant gratification, they don't want to work hard. When we think this, first of all, we put blame on them. Put blame on them. They should just stop. They should just want to work hard. No, they don't remember before. They don't remember. Do you know your students today, 9/11 is a history lesson to them like V-Day was for us. A world, you ever had a student tell you, wouldn't it be cool, or rather maybe a child, wouldn't it be cool if they would develop a technology, like a device, sort of like that would have the phone glued to the wall so we wouldn't have to be looking for it all the time, right? But this is how they're thinking. We're like, I mean, that's how we grew up. With those long wires, they were always static, they always pulled it, right? This is their reality. The fact that they know materialism, that they know technology, that they know instant gratification, this is the wiring of their brain. And the reason why this is such an important mindset is A, because then we see them not as victims, not as bad, not as the kids of today. We see them uniquely positioned for a particular target. We see ourselves uniquely positioned for a particular target to bring the same objective values, the same objective career values to the generation of today. And you know why else it's so important, this mindset shift? Because when we think like the kids of today, oh, you know, like the kids of today, and the flip side, and right? We become victims. We sit with hunched shoulders and it's like, too big, too much, I can't. Like, I just can't, you just bring up healthy kids, like just healthy, normal. Just have parents who actually look them in the eye once a day. Give me those kids and then everything's okay. No, we become victims. And when we see this, well, this is my target. Then I straighten my shoulders and I become filled with a sense of purpose, a mission. I am here uniquely for this. And ladies, it's the same exact target that when our grandmothers built the first mikvahs after the Holocaust, the same thing. When they went door to door asking children to come to, from schools versus going to public schools. The same thing. Those women who had the bazaar and the ladies' auxiliaries, they did all their chasadim. Those women, it feels like they did big stuff for Klal Yisrael. They did. And we do big stuff for Klal Yisrael by grappling with what are those things of today? How am I going to do it differently? And what else can I do? And how do I bring more sequel? And how do I, yes, in a world of instant gratification, how do I make them believe that the real joy and the real sequel is going to be in the process? It's going to be in the fight. It's going to be in the getting up and the falling down. And I think it's so important as we are talking about contemporary issues. We could get down that, almost like that rabbit hole of blame and shame and like the kids of today, or we could get filled with such a sense of purpose and such a sense of mission, of just building the same objective true values in the dark of today, and in the unique way needed for the dark of today. So ladies, think about significance, connection, belonging, and pleasurable engagements, and I'm so much looking forward to teasing it apart tomorrow and see what we're going to do with the plan. Thank you.